What is up, guys? Today we're going to be going through my entire Eminem collection. So this is all the merchandise I have, including CDs, cassettes, even DVDs, stuff like that, obscure things, posters, games, and records and all that kind of stuff. So this is basically everything I have. There's a few other things I'll show afterwards, but how this video is going to work. First, we're going to go through all of the CDs, followed by the cassette tapes, followed by the vinyls, and then all the miscellaneous stuff I sort of have lying around. So let's go ahead and get started with the CD section. So going in no particular order, I'm just going to kind of go through everything to keep it interesting. Starting off with Eminem Curtain Call, The Hits. This is a compilation album of all of his greatest hits from 2005. Really amazing. It's just great to play this basically anywhere because pretty much everyone knows all the songs off there. So yeah, really cool. Followed by Relapse with refill included as well. This is a 2-disc CD set. Really cool. Relapse is actually my second favorite Eminem album of all time. I know that's probably an unpopular opinion, but to be honest, Relapse is starting to have a lot more love nowadays, I'm noticing. So I'm sure that this is some people out there, your favorite Eminem release. I think it's really cool. Heavily underrated for many years, but now it's finally, kind of not being slept on as much. So yeah, and if you guys do want to see like in-depth videos of me actually going through the individual items, they are, I want to say at least like maybe 50% of all this stuff is on my channel, where I'll open it up, go through the inserts, the disc, and sometimes even do a demo. I do have videos for, I want to say, like at least half of these items you'll see. So yeah, you can check that out on my channel. But if there is anything that I don't have on my channel that you guys want me to dig into specifically, let me know and I'll make a video on it. Next up, my favorite Eminem album of all time, The Eminem Show. Yeah, this is just perfect. Very old. You can see a lot of these will be in varying conditions because some of them I have had for a very long time. Other ones sort of more recently I've picked up. But yeah, this is The Eminem Show. I think that this is a flawless album. It is 10 out of 10 in my eyes. And this is my favorite Eminem album of all time. And then followed by Relapse, probably my second. Followed up by Encore. Here's Encore, a very hated album. Doesn't get a whole lot of love, but to be honest, I still kind of like this thing. Probably like somewhere between a 7 and an 8 out of 10 for me. Definitely not his best, but it does still have like a lot of very good tracks. Very underrated tracks. I think Spend Some Time is one of Eminem's most underrated tracks of all time. That's my favorite track off of Encore. Obviously, you do have songs like Mockingbird and Just Lose It, which are a bit more popular. More people sort of know, but I definitely encourage you guys to check out Spend Some Time. Amongst some other sort of hidden gems in here, Yellow Brick Road's amazing. And I do love Like Toy Soldiers, even though it's more of a popular song. So yeah, there's Encore. Coming up next, a more sort of rare item over here, we've got Shady Records presents the DJ Green Lantern mixtape. So this is actually a mixtape CD. It's semi-rare. Mine's in not the best condition. It is cracked quite a bit, actually. You've got 8 tracks on here. A couple of, semi-uncommon tracks. You can still find these, I'm sure, on the internet. But yeah, this is one of my more obscure CDs in my collection, so yeah, it's pretty cool. Coming up next, we have this single of My Name Is. I lost the original insert art. I have no idea where it's gone, so I just keep it in this jewel case. It's just a single with a few different versions of Eminem's song My Name Is. So yeah. Next up, we have an unofficial Eminem Slim Shady EP. This is actually still sealed, so this is, I believe, a House of Wax release, and it features the entire original Eminem Slim Shady EP that actually caught Dr. Dre's attention and got Eminem signed, for those who don't know. So yeah, this is obviously a bootleg. Still very expensive, or not very expensive, but moderately expensive and pretty hard to come by. Like these do sell out as soon as like a mass amount of them are printed in like bootleg form. So yeah. Speaking of unofficial, we have Eminem's Infinite on CD. Obviously, the originals were only ever released on cassette and vinyl. Once again, there is the sticker confirming this is a House of Wax release. I think in the UK somewhere these were manufactured and released, so I had to pay quite a bit to get my hands on these. But yeah, Infinite, I think it's actually a decent album. It is Eminem's first quote-unquote album, not his first studio album, but his first ever like release. besides from Soul Intent, which we'll get into a bit later. If you guys are that cultured to know what, like Soul Intent and all that cool stuff is. But yeah, that is his first like sort of solo, I want to say, album. And yeah, it is a very cool unofficial CD. Coming up next, we have the Eminem Show Expanded Edition. This came out not too long ago. Maybe it's been like a year or two now, probably 2 years. Was it 2022 this came out? Pretty sure. Yeah, 2022, it says down there somewhere. Yeah, this is an expanded version featuring a bonus disc, which has a whole bunch of extra stuff. Stimulate is the main one there. And then you do have a whole bunch of instrumentals amongst some live performances and just random freestyles and stuff like that. I do really like Jimmy, Brian, and Mike, the song from this release. So yeah, there is the Eminem Show Expanded Edition. Coming up next, we have the Eminem, the Marshall Mathers LP. So this is, by a lot of fans actually, consider this to be his best album. I think it's amazing. Definitely like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 probably. For me, it's amazing. What can I say? Executive producer, obviously Dr. Dre. He was just locked in on this album, and I don't think he'll ever reach this level again. And yeah, this is, I think, one of the rarer album cover variants, at least here in Australia. I don't know how it works for the whole world, but there's a few different album covers you can get of this. I've heard that this one might be slightly more uncommon. Maybe not rare, but yeah, there's a few different album covers. That's the Marshall Mathers LP. And coming up next, we have Curtain Call 2. This is the newest Eminem CD that I have in my collection. This one came out, was it 2018, I want to say? Maybe it was a bit later than that. Maybe it was like 2020 or something. Oh, 2022 actually. What am I saying? This was 2022. Feels like a lot longer ago. But this is obviously his second greatest hits compilation. Definitely nowhere near as strong as the original Curtain Call. And the album cover on this also kind of stinks. I'm not the biggest fan of it. But there is some decent stuff on here, obviously. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but I don't listen to this thing a whole lot, to be honest. And yeah, so there's that. And finally, for my last CD, we have the Slim Shady LP Expanded Edition. So this is his first studio album. I do really love the cartoon sort of vibe of this whole album. I do really love it. And yeah, there's disc 1 and disc 2 on this thing. So there's a whole bunch of acapellas, instrumentals, and just random stuff on disc 2. But then, of course, you got the full original first album on disc 1 as well. So I do really love this album cover as well. It just sucks how it's kind of like zoomed out and then it says expanded edition at the bottom. I do wish it was like the full, jewel case up, but it's fine. So yeah, there is all of my CDs. That's all I have for the CDs. I might have more laying around the house, like singles and stuff like that, but they're just, they're kind of scattered everywhere. This is everything I could find. So yeah, that's all of my CDs. Moving on next, we will have a look at all of my cassette tapes. So again, in no particular order, starting off with my cassettes. Here we have Encore on cassette tape. So very nice. This is the Indonesian release. So yeah, there's Encore on cassette tape, very nice. Next up we have another Indonesian release of 8 Mile soundtrack. So music from and inspired by the motion picture 8 Mile. Yeah, very nice. Some good tracks on this thing for sure. Obviously, Lose Yourself is on that one. So yeah, next up we have Eminem Curtain Call. I do quite love this. If this was considered an album, I'm sure it would probably be my favorite, but it's just a compilation, so you can't really, say that this is your favorite thing because it's not like an official release. Well, not an official like album, I mean. But yeah, still very awesome. And then here we have the Eminem Show once again on cassette tape this time. I don't know why the spine's like flipped this way, which is kind of annoying, but again, this is the Indonesian Universal release, so these are all considered official. So yeah, next up we have a sealed copy of the Slim Shady LP with this lenticular 3D like changing case. This is an official product that came out on Eminem's website a couple years ago. It is actually purple, which is really cool and really nice. I still have this thing sealed actually. I haven't decided to open it yet. I just don't see really a reason to when I have this album on other formats. And yeah, obviously it does add a whole lot of value when you do have official sealed products. So Yeah, this is a really cool, I should show the sides actually. This side sorry and side not sorry, which is dope. Yeah, so that's very nice. Moving on next, we have Eminem Relapse on cassette. This is a custom, unofficial bootleg, but still very well made. My most recent video before this one is actually taking a look at this thing, so if you want to check that out, you can. That's where I'll open the cases, show you the tape, show you everything, all the inserts and all that stuff. I'm not going to go through that in this video, otherwise it would take ages. Anyway, coming up next, we've got Eminem Infinite. This is, I believe, a House of Wax release as well. Yeah, still sealed and everything. Really cool. Hip-hop does often sound best on cassette tape. It just, the drums really hit and everything. It's just such a good format to play music on. So I do have quite a few cassettes. So there is Eminem Infinite. Coming up next, we've got Eminem The Slim Shady EP. Again, this is a re-release or custom-made, not original. Eminem Slim Shady EP. Very nice. I've actually opened this one up. So it used to be sealed, but I just decided to open it. House of Wax release once again. So yeah, very nice. Next up, we've got Eminem The Marshall Mathers LP. Again, this is the Indonesian Universal release. So very nice. Very cool. I'm glad to have this on cassette. And coming up next, we've got all of the Soul Intent stuff. So if you didn't know, before Eminem was Eminem, he was part of a group called Soul Intent. And they released a whole bunch of music together before his career. And this is the Soul Intent fucking Backstabber cassette. That's what it's called. Features Proof. And it's a big misconception that Eminem's first ever song is actually on this cassette when it's not. So a lot of people think Bitophobia, which is one of the tracks on here, was his first ever song, but it actually wasn't. There's like a video on YouTube with like a couple million views saying Eminem's first song, and it actually plays Bitophobia. There were a few tracks before it, definitely, so definitely not his first track, but one of his first, that's for sure. So yeah, this is very cool, very rare. I don't know if this is official. I have no idea, by the way, for some of these final products I'm going to show off here. No clue. And we have this Soul Intent still in the basement. This is suspiciously in good condition, so I'm definitely going to assume that this one was like a re-release kind of thing. No idea for the Backstabber one. I'm really not sure. One of my first videos on my channel is actually going through that thing, so if anyone can let me know, that would be cool. I'm sure some people have already speculated, but yeah. Here is the Still in the Basement cassette tape. I have gone through this one as well in a video. Very nice, super cool. Next up, we have this House of Wax Soul Intent Basement Productions tape as well. Very, very cool. This one's still sealed. It's a House of Wax release. House of Wax is responsible for, like, bootlegging a whole bunch of early and super rare Eminem stuff. So if you do want to find a good way to get your hands on it, I think these guys still have a website. I don't know. It's been a couple of years. I think it was like 2019. I got a lot of this old stuff. So if they are still going, and that is if they have it in stock as well, and for a reasonable price, which probably not. So yeah, a lot of people do ask me, do I sell any of this stuff? Which the short answer is no, not exactly. So yeah. Then over here we've got Basement Productions Sucker and Rhymes. This is volume 2, and I do also have volume 1. These are definitely like re-releases. The originals, you could probably go for thousands. Who knows how expensive they are. You can see here, that is actually Eminem standing up there. Really cool. I know the camera isn't being amazing right now, but yeah, that's Eminem there in that one, and that's him there, I think, in that one as well. So, Sucker and Rhymes, very cool. And then finally, I do have this Hi, My Name Is Stretch Armstrong presents Eminem's The Slim Shady LP snippet tape. This one has been confirmed from one of my viewers to be a re-release or custom. The original, have seen it before, go for a lot of money, but this one definitely is a re-release, I've heard. So yeah, that's all of my cassette tapes. So I guess next we're going to go through all of my vinyl. So we'll move these over to the side a little bit. But yeah, very cool so far. You can see definitely I favor a lot of the older Eminem stuff. I don't really have much past 2005. All of his older stuff is what I'm a big fan of. So yeah, anyway, onto the vinyl section. We've got Eminem, The Eminem Show over here. Very nice. This was one of my first Eminem vinyls. Or vinyl, so yeah, there's that. Then we've got Relapse over here. My top 2 Eminem albums. There we go. Here is Relapse. Very nice. Okay, there we go. And then we've got Eminem Curtain Call on vinyl over here. Very nice. Set that over to the side. Don't worry guys, I don't stack my vinyls like this. It's just for the video. I do keep them upright. There we go. We've got Bad Meets Evil with side A featuring Nothing to Do and side B featuring one of my favorite Eminem songs of all time and one of my favorite beats of all time, Scary Movies. If you guys haven't heard this track, definitely check it out. I mean, if you've seen obviously the movie, Scary Movie, then you would have heard it, but yeah, obviously very cool. Next up, we've got Eminem Recovery. Vinyl is the only format I have Recovery on, interestingly enough, and I got it in a bundle with Relapse from memory, so that's how I ended up with this in my collection. Not a huge fan of Recovery. I know a lot of people who are very big on it though. Coming up next, we've got Eminem, the Marshall Mathers LP. Vinyl over here. Very nice. There we go. And then, last but not least, we've got an original pressing of the Slim Shady LP. This is a 1999 release, actually. So this is the first pressing, which is very cool. All these other ones, no idea. Not really a huge expert on that kind of stuff, but this one actually was sold to me as an original pressing. So, yeah, there is all of the music in CD, cassette, and vinyl form. And now I guess we'll go on to all of the miscellaneous sort of stuff, everything that's left over. And yeah, for the most part, it is actually just DVDs. So, starting us off with the DVD section, we've got the Up in Smoke tour. I don't know if you want to consider this Eminem, but it does feature him, so I do consider it Eminem. This is, you know, maybe some people say, nah, this is Aftermath. It's not Eminem, but still Eminem's part of Aftermath. You know, so Up in Smoke tour, this was amazing. Watching this DVD is just the coolest thing ever. Makes you really wish you were here for these concerts. It's just so good. If you can access footage on YouTube and watch this stuff, it's peak. It's amazing. And the DVD is not that expensive. I think there is a VHS out there as well, I'm pretty sure. So that's actually kind of cool. Next up, we've got the Slim Shady show. To be honest, I don't really mess with this a lot. It's not as funny as I hoped it would be. I don't know. It is kind of funny, but I think a lot of people definitely find this a lot more enjoyable than I do. I guess I just had too high expectations, but the animation quality just kind of sucks. And the whole show is just kind of, I don't know, just very weird, to be honest. It's not bad, but it's just very weird. And I guess it doesn't hit that mark for as funny as I hope it would be. Anyway, Eminem Behind the Mask over here. Very cool. And then we've got Eminem E, which is basically just a collection of a whole bunch of old Eminem music videos. I think there was a cool hidden feature in here where when you typed like 313 on your remote, you'd get like a secret video or something like that. That's what I've heard, at least. I haven't tried it out though, but yeah, this is a very cool, unique piece of merchandise I have in my collection. Next up, we've got Eminem All Access Europe. So yeah, this is a sort of different, like fold-out thing. It's not like the usual DVD case. It's like a booklet sort of format. So yeah, and then we've got Eminem, the Anger Management Tour over here. So very cool. Here it is. Really nice, and he does perform a lot of cool songs actually on this DVD. So yeah. And the last thing I have in my collection is actually a Game Boy Advance game. You might be thinking, what the hell is this doing here? And the cool thing about this is a game called, well, not a game actually, it's, well, I guess there's no other thing to call it apart from a game. It's a Game Boy Advance cartridge called Pocket Music. And it actually features a version of My Name Is, well, let me focus, there we go. It features a version of My Name Is originally recorded by Eminem. So Eminem being canonically on the Game Boy Advance is the funniest thing I've ever seen. This is licensed by Nintendo, so Eminem is literally on a Nintendo game, which I just thought was absolutely wild. I'm not sure when this game came out, but it is in pretty good condition and it is complete in box. I know it's more of a sort of gaming thing, but I just thought I'd include it because it would make sense. But yeah, that's about everything. Aside from this stuff, I do have a bunch of posters and, you know, just things laying around in my room, but it's not really that important. It's just, you know, just posters and stuff. Here is one of them above my bed frame. I've got Eminem's Encore. I know I'll probably get a lot of hate for this, but it didn't have the Eminem show available, so the next best thing I could get is Encore, and it still looks pretty decent. And there it is next to the Black Eyed Peas poster I've got there as well, which is very nice. And then flipping over, we've got Eminem Relapse over here, which is a cool poster, sort of in my closet, next to Dr. Dre's The Chronic classic. And alright, so that is basically everything in my entire collection. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And just to sort of answer a few predicted, I suppose, frequently asked questions, is any of my stuff for sale? Like I said before, the short answer is no. But if you are interested in something, you can still leave a comment inquiring, but 99% of the time, I'm not actually selling any of this stuff. I know a lot of people are very interested in some of the cassettes I have, amongst some other things, but yeah. How long have I been collecting? Well, CDs in general, probably since like 2012 maybe, which is a long time ago. Cassettes more sort of recently, or 2019 maybe. And vinyl also around that time, I want to say 2019 or 2020. And yeah, Eminem is one of my favorite rappers of all time for sure. Of course, it's no secret that there is a pretty decent lack of newer releases. That's just because I'm not the biggest fan of anything Eminem past, I want to say 2009, maybe 2010, 11, something like that. I think it was Relapse and maybe the Bad Meets Evil release with Royce da 5'9". The last time I genuinely found myself like enjoying properly, fully through Eminem albums, which doesn't mean that, you know, his new songs are bad or his new albums are bad, but I just think they really cannot compare to this, like, you know, run he had from 1999 to like 2005. If you guys didn't know, Eminem was actually originally meant to retire after Encore, and then, you know, Curtain Call was like the final release, and then that's it. And if he did retire at that point, I would truly consider his discography to be perfect, and he, you know, he definitely, easily, without a question, would be the greatest rapper of all time. Do I still think he's the greatest rapper of all time, regardless of a not perfect discography? To be honest, yes, there is no MC that can compare to Eminem, you know, regardless of, you know, some very questionable and mid albums past 2010, in my opinion. But yeah, if he did, you know, sort of stop there at that Curtain Call 1, 2005 point, I would say that there are absolutely no issues with the discography. That is, you know, including Encore, because in my eyes, that is still like a good album. And yeah, like he literally would be perfection. His discography would be perfect. If you guys are wondering, there are only 2 artists in all of music that I consider who have a perfect discography, which means no bad songs, no bad albums. And that is 1, A Tribe Called Quest, and 2, Daft Punk. So yeah, Eminem is still my favorite rapper, probably of all time. I do like some others, but Eminem always probably gonna hold that crown for me. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. What is your favorite Eminem album? What was your favorite, I guess, item or thing in this video? Let me know all that fun stuff. And if there's any other artists you guys want me to do a full collection on, let me know. Or any videos in particular that you want, let me know. And that's about it. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Alright, so there is actually one thing I forgot to showcase in my collection. That is the Soul Intent fucking Backstabber CD over here. Obviously, this never came out in CD, even originally. This is a completely custom House of Wax release. I should also mention, my favorite Eminem song of all time is Soldier, off of the Eminem Show. And here is your guys' homework. These are 5 of my favorite Eminem tracks of all time. Go listen to them. If you've already heard them, listen to them again, revisit them. These are probably my 5 favorite Eminem songs ever. Excluding the popular stuff. You know, I can't include Stan in here, even though it's perfection. Everyone's heard Stan. This is some of the more, you know, undercover, like less popular sort of tracks. But still, probably like in my top 10, all 5 of these tracks for Eminem. So yeah, definitely go check out all 5 of these songs. I'm watching you because yeah, those are my favorites. And yeah, that's it.